Well, we knew this day would eventually come at some point. Bengals fans were obviously holding on to that slim amount of hope, but after a shutout loss 24-0 to the Baltimore Ravens, almost seemed like a fitting way, Skinny, to mark an end to the Bengals' playoff hopes. What'd you see in this one today?
I want to know this. I mean, did anybody have fun today? Did you have fun today? Did the fans have fun today? Did Joe Burrow have fun today? Did any players have fun today? Did people have fun having to wipe their seats off of snow? Did fans have fun who couldn't get into the stadium? So that's what I want to know. Did anybody have fun today? I don't think so. And to your point, this was really kind of a fitting way to put a bow on this season, to be honest with you.
Yeah, obviously shut out for the first time since 2017 at home. First time in the Joe Burrow, Zach Taylor era. Joe didn't mince words post game. He said, he played bad. I believe he said that was the worst game of his career and that he didn't think any NFL team could win with him at quarterback today. I mean, what do you think it was, Skinny, that caused him to struggle so much today and this offense as a whole to struggle?
Yeah, and I hate to do this because I don't. This is probably not fair, but I'm going to do it anyway. I mean, he looked like a guy just going through the motions. Um, and it wouldn't be so alarming if it didn't come on the heels of that Wednesday press conference in which he admitted he's not having fun playing football. Is it worth it to keep doing all this? Um, and he just didn't look right. He made an admittedly bad play call at the line of scrimmage, and then took a 15-yard sack on the first drive that took him out of field goal range. Made a crazy bad throw. I know he had a guy in his lap, and you're down 17-0, but Kyle Van Noy faked the blitz, then took two steps backwards, and he throws it right to him. He then laterals it to another player. It goes for a touchdown that kind of was the final nail in the coffin, if you will. It doesn't look right. It feels like when you listen to what he said after the game on Sunday in Buffalo, and then what he said on Wednesday, it was almost like he felt like they shot their last shot in Buffalo and that's it. There's nothing left. Now, I did ask him post game, do you want to play the final three games? He said he does. I'll take him at his word for that. I believe that. But what Joe Burrow are we going to get? I thought today, Yanni, we were going to get a so determined Joe Burrow that we've seen so many times that he was going to will this team to a win to keep it alive in the playoffs. Instead, I just saw a Joe Burrow that wasn't very sharp, and sometimes that can mask everything. I mean, when you're not very sharp, then all things come on the table. But he just didn't look like he looked like he was out there. They're just piddling around. I was very disappointed in that.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, everyone says, it's tough to beat a team twice in a year, tough especially in a 3 week span, like how this was scheduled for them to play. But I expected a little bit more from this. I mean, it's not crazy to expect this kind of offense to score any sort of points in a game. And it kind of spoiled a defensive effort that was about as good as we've seen. I mean, there have been games, even the Baltimore game where they had all those turnovers, they still gave up 400 yards or so, or a couple of plays away from a 500-yard game. This was a performance where the defense was showing its peak. I think only gave up 17 points on this day. Of course, that pick six was what got Baltimore to 24 points. You had Miles Murphy getting 2 sacks, Demetrius Knight his first sack, and then gets 2 sacks. What did you see out of that group today, Skinny?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing I think you want to see down the stretch. I mean, there's anything you're looking left to see. I don't know what else there is. It's to see the continuing improvement of guys like Miles Murphy and Demetrius Knight. I mean, Miles Murphy, I thought really popped, other than just the stats. Demetrius Knight makes two quality quarterback sacks. The one he had Lamar Jackson one-on-one on kind of a bootleg
Mm.
play where Lamar 90% of the time, 95%, hell, whatever percentage you want to use, he wins that battle. And Demetrius kind of froze, stood his ground, and then just went and said, "Okay, I'll wrap you up," and dropped him. And it was, I know it's a Lamar who's probably not 100% right physically, but still, to do that to Lamar Jackson was still pretty impressive. And so, yeah, those are the things I think you want to see. The defense has played good enough since the bye to win games. They gave up 20 points against Pittsburgh, again, two defensive touchdowns by the Steelers inflated that score. Gave up 19 against New England. Gave up 14 in the win over Baltimore. To your point, gave up 17 today. Didn't play a winning performance, obviously, up in Buffalo, but Joe Burrow also threw a pick six in Buffalo that was costly. So it's taking some strides. It also still has major holes. There were some missed tackle opportunities today. there was a looked like a blown coverage or Geno Stone not getting over quick enough and then taking a bad angle on the Zay Flowers touchdown reception late in the first half. But if you're going to tell me this defense can give up 17 points, those are games this team should win. And today, not only did it not win, it didn't even score with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Sure, no T. Higgins. Let's not forget, T didn't play in that first Baltimore matchup
Yep.
either, and they scored 32. Now they got 5 turnovers, but they scored 32. So there is no excuse for today. Today is one of those games where, honestly, Yanni, you come out and you go, someone has to pay the price for this. I don't know where that goes, who that is, where the buck stops. And if you follow it up with 3 more lousy performances against at least 2 lousy teams, and maybe you can consider all 3 lousy teams, but certainly Arizona and Cleveland are, somebody's got to pay the price for this.
Well, you actually just went perfectly into my next question. I was going to ask you at this point in time, with 10 losses on the year, still 3 games to play, third straight missing of the playoffs. In your opinion, you've been around this area for a long time, Skinny, covering this team. Is Zach Taylor on the hot seat?
I think he is, but I don't think he's the one that should pay the price for this yet. I know that people are going to scream. I think somebody just threw something at the screen when I just said that. So I don't. I get it. Everybody wants change sometimes for change's sake. I've
Mm.
been on the Duke Tobin meter for a long time. I just don't know if I can trust him to be the architect of another offseason overall. I just don't think I can. I don't know how the organization can. And maybe they don't care. Maybe they show that today by, screwing up the ticket situation and then not being able to shovel off the seats like you're supposed to. And maybe that's just what this organization is. But somebody has to pay it. I don't think it's going to be Zach. I think part of it too is Yanni. He does have another year on his contract, and
Mm.
that's not a lot. I mean, some teams will pay coaches 3 years worth of money not to coach. Heck, go to college ranks, they'll pay you 5 years of money not to coach. Mike Brown and his group is not like that. So I do think Zach will get one more year, crossing their fingers that an offseason fixes the ills, that Joe Burrow goes into this healthy and with a clear, fresh mind, and that they can make a run. But I do think after today, I will tell you, back to your original question, the seat did get hotter because it's one thing if you lose games like today and maybe lose a couple of more going out. You just can't lose as ugly as today. Today looked like this team just stopped caring.
Yeah, well, I wanted to, before we go, get kind of the last thoughts from you. Obviously now eliminated, it all gets to, looking ahead to who's going to be contributing for next year, who can do a good job. And I mean, from my opinion on the defensive side, I see on the defensive line, Miles Murphy and Osai have obviously stepped up huge in these last few games. I see them as potential contributors. A Demetrius Knight, the way he's been playing recently, and especially his performance today. And then Jordan Battle and DJ Turner in the secondary. DJ, of course, having a great year. Wanted to get your opinion at this point in time. Who do you see right now as guys that will play a factor next year? Then obviously they'll need to continue to add on there.
Yeah, Miles has to be a part of this. Shamar Stewart
Mm-hmm.
has to be a part of this.
Shamar,
He
I
hasn't
forgot about
shown much,
Shamar
but
Stewart.
yeah, he has to be a part of this. No question about it. Um, I haven't seen much from Chris Jenkins this year, but obviously a second round pick last year, he's going to be around it. Do you have to retool defensive tackle? Let's not forget Joseph Osai is also a free agent after this year. Do they try to sign
Yep.
him again to a deal, or does he try to go get paid on the open market? I could understand some of that. Um, I do think, to your point, I think at least you have to have one of the 2 rookie linebackers be a factor and maybe go in the market to get a veteran, and one of the other rookies becomes a third linebacker and continues to hopefully mature. I think that feels like, to your point, Demetrius Knight has taken a step ahead of Barrett Carter at this point. And I think Jordan Battle's fine as a third safety. Again, I don't think that's a room you're going to be able to completely overhaul with 2 new starters. I think it's something you should. I think Jordan would be better served as a third safety. But if you got some veteran presence who can play, and I don't think Geno Stone can next to Jordan Battle, that masks probably some of Jordan Battle's ills. I told somebody today, I mean, he is literally a guy that if every snap you put down a grade for him, a plus and a minus, he wouldn't be a guy that on every play he just wouldn't have. It would either be a plus or a minus. I mean, he is the ultimate plus minus guy. Like the diving interception was spectacular, and then there were a couple of missed tackles and a couple of missed assignments. So he does do some good things, but I think it's just overshadowed by poor play next to him, and I think that he kind of bears the brunt for some of that. I think I'd be better with him as a third safety, but yeah, I could live with him being a starter with a veteran who can play next to him. But Yanni, we just went through. You actually probably have more building blocks than people would have had 3 or 4 weeks ago. Than I probably would have had 3 or 4 weeks ago. I think I'm with you on some of what you're saying of those building blocks. You can't rebuild the whole thing, but that still leaves a lot of building blocks that you have to fix.
Yeah, it's going to be well, hopefully a busy offseason. Bengals fans would hope with that front office trying to retool this team and get them back into the playoffs because, we did all the models. We ran the predictions of how this could happen, but I mean, we all really knew in the back of our minds that we were going to be sitting here, whether it was this week or next week or last week, had they have lost to Baltimore on Thanksgiving. Ultimately, we would have been talking about the Bengals missing the playoffs again, and that finally came today.
It sure did, and disappointing and a disappointing season comes to an end for the most part.
All right, thank you, Skinny. We'll
Right.
continue to be doing this though throughout the rest of the rest of the season.